This is Lyle Blackburn, and you're listening to the Cryptid Creatures podcast with Brian and Todd.
This is the Cryptid Creatures podcast. I am Brian, and with me, as always, is my co-host Todd. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man. Hello, listeners. Hope all is well. Hope everyone had good holidays. Brian, what's going on over there? How you doing?
Awesome. So looking forward to getting this show out there.
That's right. Tonight, we're going to do another missing episode. Haven't done one in a while. We like to throw these in there when we can. So tonight's missing episode is going to be about the Alaskan Triangle and missing in Alaska. So we don't want to waste any more time. Let's get this thing rolling.
Right on.
I read somewhere, or I heard somewhere, that there's been over 16,000 disappearances in Alaska in the past, 50 years or something like that.
Yep. I blame these Alaska shows. I blame all these Alaska shows on History and Discovery and all.
You do?
For making people think that they can go up there and live.
Could be.
It takes a certain kind of person to get up there and live in that environment. Yeah. That is an extreme environment.
Yeah, you got to be, Les Stroud or somebody like that to survive out there.
You definitely got to know what you're doing. I mean, you can't be out I wouldn't try it. I mean, as much as I think I could do it, I don't. There's no way. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the skill set to do that kind of thing. I mean, I can start a fire, but I can't build a freaking log cabin.
If you had to, you could. You could make it happen.
If I had to, but what's it going to look like? You know?
As long as it keeps you warm, that's all that matters. But anyway, let's see what's going on with these disappearances in Alaska.
Yeah.
What do you got over there?
Alaska is a vast place at around 660,000 square miles. It's got just under 400,000 square miles on the next biggest state, Texas. So Alaska is huge.
I was looking at it on a map the other day. Alaska is 2/3 the size of the continental United States, at least.
Yeah, so that could be its own country.
Yeah, it could be. It's bigger than a lot of countries.
Mm-hmm. With a good portion of those miles uninhabited or crowded with thick forests, foliage, and tundra, it's no wonder that our state, or their state, I should say, has the highest percentage of people who stay missing. Conspiracy theories abound for why this is. Aliens, rampant serial killers, the Alaskan Triangle. Barring the rumor mill, people disappear up here, whether they're in the forest or downtown. As you'll see on this list, some defy explanation or even logic. Some will leave you scratching your head, and others will chill you to the bone. The saddest part is that due to recent statewide budget cuts, the Alaska Cold Case Unit has been disbanded. It's more than likely that these cases will remain unsolved. Here are the top 8 creepiest unexplained disappearances in Alaska history.
I'm liking this. I'm getting into this. This is interesting to me, this whole Alaska thing.
Yeah, this whole Alaska Triangle thing is what gets me. And we'll cover that, I'm sure, in this.
Yep.
All right, number 1, Jael Tierra Hamblin, Anchorage, Alaska, 2014. Jael Tierra Hamblin was out having dinner with her roommate, Kendra Vincent Estrada, on the night of October 11th, 2014. The pair's respective children were being looked after by Kendra's mother. They got home, and after Kendra went to bed, Jael decided to go out again. That night, she was rejected by a man she liked and texted a male friend in the early morning at 1:40. Her last text message would be sent just over 2 hours later. Estrada found her roommate's bed the following morning, unmade, and her car in the driveway. Kendra texted Jael throughout the day, texts that would go unreceived as Jael's phone had died that night. 5 months later, her purse was found buried in the snow just outside of Anchorage. The last text message and her black purse, covered in months of snowfall, is all that Jael Tierra Hamblin left behind. Today, her case is being investigated as a homicide. Hamblin's adoptive mother recently filed for custody of her grandson, Joel.
Okay.
So she just disappeared. So who's the guy?
Who's the guy that she was with? To me, that's obvious right there. She was rejected by a man she liked, so she texted another male friend for accompaniment or something. Who knows?
Right, comfort, something.
And
Booty call, whatever.
he obviously probably did something to her.
But did that guy or did the guy that rejected her? I don't see. That's the thing. Did they talk to either one of those guys?
I would hope so.
Well, I have to look into this one some more.
Yeah, there's more information that we need to grab on this because
It's very interesting.
it seems cut and dry if it was the guys, but apparently it's not because, police officers know what they're doing. They should know that they're going to question those people, obviously. So
you would think, especially up in Alaska, they would know because a lot of people go missing.
Yeah, if anyone knows anything about jail Tierra Hamblin or have heard any more facts about
or
this
heard
case,
anything about that story,
let us know.
Let us know. All right. Number 2, Erin Marie Gilbert, Girdwood, Alaska, 1995. Erin Marie Gilbert's case is one of the more inexplicable one on our list. A nearly 6-foot-tall basketball player, Gilbert was enrolled in cosmetology school and dreamed of being a novelist. She had been in Alaska for just over a year when she met a young man. The two went to the Goodwood Forest Fair, a local music and crafts fair, on a date. These are the only clear details about the case. Weird. The date later told police that heading back to his car, he saw the lights were on and the battery dead. She stayed in the car while he went to look for help. When he returned, Erin Marie Gilbert had vanished. Until 1 a.m., the date claimed that he searched for her. The next day, he reported her missing. Soon after, he was cleared as a suspect. Girdwood is a densely forested area. It's possible that Gilbert wandered off and got lost in the woods, though, as her family stated, she wouldn't have done so alone. Even though her case remains unsolved, family, and especially her sister, suspect foul play was involved. If Gilbert is indeed alive, she would be 41 years old today.
Okay, to me, that's a no-brainer. The date did it. I mean...
Yeah, the date killed her.
Did they test his battery and see if it was dead or if it was fresh or what? Okay, well, if your battery was dead and you got a jump start,
and it was a fair. I mean, weren't they parked in a parking lot or a big parking area with more cars? Were the last people to leave that place? It doesn't make any sense.
What we're going to have to do is pick the good ones that we really like out of these, dig into them deeper, and do a full show, I believe, on these missing cases here. So
because that's a good one. I want to find out more about that one too.
I do too. Let's see.
Because that just sounds.
Yeah, it has to have been the boyfriend. It's either the boyfriend or the date. I'm sorry. Or someone came along and found her and did something to her. One of the two. Or something came along and did something to her, which is possible as well.
Well, yeah, because if it's a heavily wooded area.
There's a lot that goes on in Alaska. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on in Alaska. There's grizzly bears, there's mountain lions, there's all kinds of...
Actually, look up...
I mean, you can get killed by moose up there.
I'm going to have to look up... Oh, moose are terrible. We're going to have to look up Girdwood and see if that's in the triangle.
Yeah.
I think it probably is, but...
I'll do it right now if you want me to. I don't care.
Yeah, let's see if Girdwood's in the triangle.
Actually, most of Alaska is, if you look at it...
At least the populated areas.
Is in the triangle.
Are in the triangle.
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah.
Which also makes sense.
It definitely is.
Okay.
It definitely is. It's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah. All right. Sandra Lee Davis, Chugiak, Alaska, 1974. Adapting to Alaska is tough, especially as she moved here from a more temperate state. Such was the case with Sandra Lee Davis and her husband, John. A Mormon mother of 2, Davis moved to Chugiak, Alaska from Utah in 1974. It wasn't long before her husband handed her divorce papers. Having already hated her life here and having no car or phone, Davis' family was all she had left. With that threatened, she left their trailer on August 30th with no money or identification. This had happened before, and John and the children figured she would return. This time, she didn't. Her husband reported her missing and immediately came under suspicion. Well, of course, that's always the first person they see. They suspect as the spouse.
Yep.
Always. After passing a lie detector test, however, investigators shifted their focus elsewhere. Nearby lakes were searched. Dogs tried to track her scent. At one point, leading authorities to a payphone down that road which John Davis said his wife had used the night before her disappearance. According to the Doe Network, an undated note written by Sandra was later found. It read, "It is too late to remedy anything, so instead of me going through life this way, it's better to leave. Take good care of my daughters and yourself. Take them to church. It's very important to me." While no reference to suicide is explicitly made here, it is considered possibility. Despite this, Davis's body has never been recovered.
Okay.
All right, that's another weird one.
So you want to say that the husband could have done it because if they're going through a divorce, you're talking money, you're talking financial things, you're talking, or things that you own.
Yeah, but I mean, he's the one that filed.
Yeah.
Why would he, that would really put the suspicion on him.
Yeah, and I don't think that he killed her either. There would be no life insurance if she killed herself. If she come up missing, you're not going to get life insurance. So he wasn't after money if he did something to her because they've never found her.
Yeah. He has there's obviously he could have, but from what this is saying, he had no motive or reason to kill her. He's the one that filed for divorce.
Yeah. And what I'm wondering if they test the note, the letter, was it her handwriting?
Oh, this is 1974. I doubt it.
Well, they could have back then. They would have forensic people
in Alaska,
calligraphy, whatever you call them.
In Chugiak, Alaska, in 1974. I doubt it.
Well, they should. Then they should get the letter out, and they should prove that it was her writing. And
they should now. Yeah, now they could if they still have the letter. If it wasn't lost,
and then they could say, "Yeah, well, that's her writing. She probably did herself in. Where, who, how, who knows?"
Yeah.
It does sound like a suicide to me.
Alaska, all you got to do is take off down the road. You can get attacked by a bear, run over by a moose, or you die. And there's a myriad of ways to die in Alaska. Is that a show? It should be.
Yeah, there are a lot of ways to die in Alaska. That is a good idea for a show.
It is.
If anyone out there who does documentaries are listening, we'd be happy to help you.
Get a hold of us. We'll be happy to get on there and do it for you.
Yeah. All right. What else we got?
One-Eyed Jack in Talk, Alaska, 1979. Wow, this guy looks like a...
I've known some One-Eyed Jack before.
Not out of the bottle.
Okay, different kind.
One-Eyed Jack is not your typical missing person. We have his body. We know what happened to him, but we don't know who he is.
Okay.
In September 1978, Jack was picked up somewhere near Boise, Idaho. The driver was headed for Alaska, and despite saying he was going to Pendleton, Oregon, Jack went along for the ride.
Pendleton, Oregon. I know that town. You know that town. We've been to that town, haven't we?
Yeah, a few times.
And, we know this. Going out west, going to that part of the country, the Pacific Northwest, there's a vibe out there, and it just feels different.
Oh, yeah.
And some weird stuff can go on. You just know. Looking around, the scenery, the woods, the mountains, just the feel of it, it's different.
Just the vastness of it, the density of the forest. It's, yeah. They entered Alaska, and, as the driver later told police, Jack annoyed him. So he killed him and dumped his body on the side of the highway. Well, that makes total sense. He led the police to the remains a year later and was sent to jail. It was then that things got weird. The killer said he had seen the victim's Oregon driver's license. Maybe his name was John, maybe it was Jack. Jack stuck. A logging accident had taken his left eye, and he was around 5'11" with long curly hair. No ID was found on his body. Over the next few decades, authorities tried to track this man down, but to no avail. In essence, they had uncovered a ghost. All they had to go on was what the killer remembered from that night. But even that was lost when he died in prison in 2003. So who is One-Eyed Jack? Where was he going? Did the killer truly have no other motive besides being annoyed? today with no known family, it's likely that we will never have answers.
Okay, well, here's my thought on old One-Eyed Jack. He was a drifter. The guy just probably, he either grew up out there or he went out there and was just landing different jobs, doing, what did it say he was doing in a logging? He was working for the logging companies, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So he was leaving the area and go to Alaska for either work or who knows what. I think a lot of people.
No, he was going to Pendleton.
Who was
the
Jack?
driver was headed to Alaska. Jack was going to Pendleton, but went to Alaska.
Okay.
For the ride.
Okay. So we know Pendleton brings in a lot of drifters.
Yeah.
Pendleton is really the only larger. Well, I won't say that. It's kind of out in the middle of Eastern Oregon by itself. So if you're going anywhere, you're going to probably go through Pendleton.
If you're heading that way.
If you're heading to the coast or to Washington. But I think this guy was probably just a drifter.
You're listening to the Cryptid Creatures Show. If you're a fan of the show, go and check out our new Patreon site. You'll get access to our private Discord server, exclusive merchandise, access to all live streams and Q&As, discounts on merch from the Cryptid Creatures store, and get a chance to be a guest host during one of the show's recordings. Just go to www.patreon.com/cryptidcreatures1. Thank you for listening and supporting the show.
But the guy that killed him obviously wasn't. I don't think that was probably his first kill. He probably could have been a serial killer for all we know.
Yeah, I think so too. That doesn't make any sense that he would just pick up a hitchhiker and be like, "Man, you're pissing me off. You're dead."
There was something else going on there. Either the guy was a serial killer, or something went down, and he had,
right.
Yeah, they don't know who he is. I mean, you got DNA now, right?
Well, yeah, they do.
If they really want to know.
They do. That's a good way to.
It's kind of sad because it tells you that there's just a lot of people in this world whose parents don't care, don't know where their kids are at or their family, or people just pull away from their family and just become like this and become solace, And those are the ones I end up finding, and that end up in either dead or whatever, and they can't identify them.
Yep.
All right.
So that's a weird one.
Yeah. Moving on.
All right. Nick Begich and Hale Boggs. Unknown, Alaska, 1972. The disappearance of Representative Nick Begich and Louisiana politician Hale Boggs. Oh, I've heard about this one.
Have you?
Hale Boggs is shrouded in mystery. Yeah, this is a good one.
Okay.
Conspiracy theories centered around Boggs' involvement with the Warren Commission have often taken center stage as explanations. But as we said before, Alaska is gigantic. While it's strange how little we know of the disappearance, it's not unbelievable. Locked in a tight race in 1972 general election against Representative Don Young, Nick Begich called on Boggs for support. Boggs obliged, and on October 16, 2016, he and Begich boarded a small twin-engine plane out of Alaska, bound for the state capital, Juneau. Somewhere between there and Anchorage, the plane seemed to vanish. The Coast Guard, Navy, and Air Force searched all along the flight path for 39 days. Despite their efforts, no wreckage or remains were ever found. The search was so unsuccessful, in fact, that Congress passed a law mandating that all civil aircraft in the U.S. be fitted with emergency locator transmitters.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
That was obviously a plane crash, or
was it
alien abduction?
I mean, as vast and as big and as wild as Alaska is, you could probably lose an aircraft in there somewhere if it crashed in a big wooded area.
Well, they probably got off path.
This one's kind of odd.
I think they probably got off path, and they didn't realize they got off path. No one realized they got off path due to malfunctioning instruments, maybe, or just the fact that the Alaskan Triangle is weird, like the Bermuda Triangle, and can make
that could be too, yeah,
make the readings go funky and whatnot. They probably got off path and end up crashing into a mountainside. Who knows? Or crashing somewhere way off path, and they may be found someday.
Way off.
Yeah,
because I mean, that was 1972 and nobody's come across it yet.
Nope. Maybe eventually someone will, but you never know. There's a lot of plane crashes out there in all parts of the world, not just Alaska. I would say South America has a ton of them where there's just no one's found these planes or bodies that are sitting there full of skeleton or drugs or who knows what. So I'm going to chalk that one up to they got off course due to some malfunctioning instruments or something, due to the Alaskan Triangle possibly, crashed. Who knows where they're at?
I'm going to say it was aliens.
You think it's alien abduction? Okay. It's very possible. Very possible.
Actually, I think it was a political hit. That's what I think.
That could be it too. That could definitely be it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have to look into that one some more too. I've seen that one on Ancient Aliens. They talked about that one before.
Yeah, I wonder if they do know any kind of thing of a flight path or anything like that. So we'll have to look that up. I'm liking this Alaska mystery stuff. I'm going to get into
I know, it's crazy. Some of these are wild.
All right, moving on.
Here's a sad one. Amy and Scott Fandel, Sterling, Alaska, 1978. The disappearance of Amy and Scott Fandel is as baffling as it is sad. The 8 and 13-year-olds with their mother Margaret were visiting their aunt Kathy at a local bar in Sterling, Alaska. Around 10 that night, Margaret and Kathy walked them home and returned to the bar. They would come back some 4 hours later to find a pot of water boiling on the stove next to an unopened box of macaroni and cheese and a can of tomatoes. Strangest of all was that even though Scott and Amy were afraid of the dark, the lights were out. Assuming they were spending the night at the Lupton's house, their neighbors, Margaret went to bed. Hold up. You come home. Well, first of all, you take your kids to a bar.
Right.
Second of all, you take the kids home, you go back to the bar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Third, you come home, your kids aren't there. You think they're at the neighbors, so you go to bed. You don't call the neighbor or go to the neighbors to see if your kids are there.
She's probably so wasted. She actually came home, didn't realize her kids weren't there, and passed out. I'm surprised the house didn't catch on fire from the boiling water.
It says she assumed that the kids were at the neighbors.
I mean, she could have said that.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, problem number one, great parenting.
Yeah. Yeah. Mother of the year.
So I'm not surprised these kids aren't around, but what else is going on with this thing here?
So in the morning, she went to work as usual. Again, didn't bother to see where the hell the kids were. Just went to work.
Okay.
When she called the school, however, she learned Amy and Scott hadn't attended. Worried, and now she's worried. Mm-hmm. Margaret tried to leave work early, but her boss wouldn't allow it.
Okay.
At home, the Lupton children visited Kathy, confirming Margaret's worst fears. Her children hadn't spent the night at the Luptons or gone to school.
If my kids were missing, if I'm at work and I know anyone in my family's missing, and my boss says I can't leave, I'm going.
Yeah, you can kiss my
job or not.
Mm-hmm. I got to go find my family. Sorry. Actually, I probably wouldn't have even gone to work.
No, I wouldn't have either.
I've been looking for my kids.
I wouldn't have gone to bed till I know where they're at. Drunk or not.
Yeah. She called the police, but Amy and Scott have never been found. The children's maternal uncle, Terry Schoenfelder, implicated Amy and Scott's estranged father, Roger Fandel, in the disappearances. Years later, an old girlfriend of Roger's would ask Terry for $5,000 in exchange. She would reveal the fates of Amy and Scott. Nothing came of this, however, and today no one has been formally charged. If what Schoenfeld says is true, then Amy is alive and living in either Alaska, California, or Montana, and Scott is long dead. No evidence has been uncovered to prove this, however. Unbelievable.
Yeah, there's something weird there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something weird there. I think the mom has something to do with that, honestly.
You would think. I just can't. That whole middle, I just don't.
Well, okay, why would you take your kid to the bar? And then take him home and then go back to the bar?
And then take him home and then go back to the bar.
So did you take them to the bar to show them that they were there with you, and then that you took them home when you came back and you were not around your kids?
Quick alibi so you can kill the kids and then go back to the bar.
But why would you want to kill her kids?
Because they're stopping her from, obviously not stopping her from partying.
She just nuts?
Well, there are a lot of crazies up there in Alaska, from what I've heard.
Unless this really is true, and these kids decided to leave to go somewhere for some reason, and they got picked up by somebody or something.
I don't know.
They need to be talking to this mother a lot more. I'd like to talk to this mother a lot more.
That was in 1978. I don't know if she's still alive. But we can try.
Man.
We can try.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's insane.
There's some weirdos out there. Okay, what else we got?
Thomas Newsy, Anchorage, Alaska, 2001. Out of all the cases on our list, the case of Thomas Newsy is definitely the eeriest. A traveling nurse, Newsy was well versed in the state. He kept no permanent residence, opting instead to stay in hotels. The only rent he paid was for a storage unit in Anchorage. He was described as a dutiful worker, so when he didn't show up for his flight to Bethel on June 19, 2001, his co-workers knew something was wrong. A few days of searching discovered his Jeep Cherokee, keys in the ignition, abandoned in a parking lot outside of Anchorage. No sign of Thomas remained. A friend, Mr. Guernsey, knew that Newsy had stayed at a Super 8 motel. When he called his friend's room, a man who Guernsey stated sounded nothing like Newsy answered the phone. The man passed it to a woman who said Thomas had checked out. Stranger still, the housekeeper told Newsy's nephew, Stephen Reeves, that after she knocked on Newsy's door, that a young woman answered. Behind her, a man laid in the floor. The woman closed the door and the housekeeper returned a few hours later. She opened the door to a man sitting on the bed. He told her to leave. Later that night, a couple across the street reported seeing that same couple breaking into Newsy's Jeep. Reeves also found a gas station receipt from the night Newsy presumably disappeared. He went to the station and the manager let them watch the security tapes from that night. On them, Thomas, accompanied by a thin, dark-haired woman, buys chips, soda, 2 lighters, and a pack of cigarettes. Hotel staff later described the woman's companion as a tall, dark-skinned, with rotting teeth. Thomas Newsy and the couple haven't been seen since. Rotting teeth, that's meth.
Yeah, so here's my thoughts on this one.
Yeah.
He was hooking up with a hooker. Some shit went down, and their pimp showed up. And she killed him, or he killed him, or he OD'd. They were doing drugs, something to that effect.
Yeah.
He was doing drugs with this hooker, or...
Yeah, I think that's what I think. I think picked something up, went back. They were starting to party a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And
I think it was a setup. I think the whole plan was to rob him, and
or he got crazy.
It went sideways,
and she had to defend herself. Maybe. Either way, we think they did. These two are involved in this, so they don't know these people. They haven't tracked them down, and they can't find who they were to talk to them. Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did they say about his Jeep?
They found it abandoned in a parking lot with the keys in the ignition. Just outside of
Not at the
Anchorage.
hotel. Not at the hotel he was at.
No.
He's probably, guy doesn't have a home. He's probably single. He just travels around for work. He's looking for a little love.
He's traveling. He was a traveling nurse.
Looking for a little love and got more than that.
Yep.
The question is, where did they dump him and who are they?
Yeah, they could have dumped him anywhere in Alaska.
Or maybe you're right. Maybe they just drugged him enough. Maybe they drugged him. They drugged him too much. He died. They were going to rob him regardless. And so gentlemen who are out there, beware, who are traveling single and looking for a little romance on the road.
Yeah.
Be safe. You don't know what could happen. You don't know what could happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sir. Who else we got?
Marianne Lynn Carver, unknown, 2004. The disappearance of Marianne Lynn Carver is one fraught with mystery. After all, she didn't live in Alaska and didn't disappear from the state proper. Instead, she vanished off of the vacation cruise Mercury. Without telling her family, she boarded the vessel in Seattle, Washington on August 27, 2004, and was last seen by a cabin attendant the next day. While the Mercury stopped in Juneau, Skagway, and Ketchikan, Carver would never see those places. She never disembarked. Her family, having not heard from her in weeks, reported her missing on September 7th. Celebrity Cruise, who owns the Mercury, didn't come under suspicion until Carver's father found out about his daughter's vacation and called the cruise line. He was told she had boarded, but had disappeared. Her belongings left behind and later given to charity. What? Even weirder, her disappearance was not reported and her purse was put into storage. What?
Mm-hmm.
So the cruise line just found her in the cabin and we're like, let's donate it. Didn't think that maybe something happened.
They probably get so much stuff left behind that they just don't even mess with this. Could be anything but just somebody being dumb and leaving their stuff.
Yeah, man. But I mean, they know she didn't disembark from the boat. So
She never got off the boat. Okay.
She had boarded, but had disappeared. That's what he was told by the cruise line.
So the only other, if she never got off the boat, then either she's still on the boat or she jumped in the water or was thrown in the water. Right?
According to internationalcruisevictims.org, run by Carver's father, Kendall Carver, Carver's a cabin steward, Domingo Monteiro, would later come forward saying he tried to report her disappearance, but was told to keep quiet by his superior. In Monteiro's words, his boss said that he would take care of it. With this information, ABC News prompted the question, was this a cover-up? That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like somebody saw this single because at this picture, she's an attractive young lady.
What's weird about it is she didn't tell her family about this. Why?
That's true. Why wouldn't she say, I'm going on a cruise? I'm going on a little vacation cruise.
If you're going to go on a cruise or something like that, or you're going to go on vacation, so you tell some people. You tell people outside the people you're going with.
Yeah.
Just out of, courtesy or what have you, Hey.
Well, just to let them know that in case something happens, like what did.
Yeah, if I don't come back, this is where I'm going. So by her not telling someone makes it curious to me and makes me wonder if she didn't go with somebody else.
But there was no,
Here's what
unless she met him there.
Here's what could have happened. Could someone have went on her, who already has a ticket on the boat, but used her ticket and her information instead, and then when they got off the boat, they used their information. But they would have never been logged on as getting on the boat, would they not?
Right.
But who knows with these cruise ships and stuff? There could be these crews. They're not always, United. They're not always Americans, and they.
That's why I would never go on a cruise.
Me either. But we got more of this, right? What else do they?
Yes. Kendall Carver would go on to issue a subpoena to Celebrity Cruises Board of Directors, demanding documents about his daughter. When received, the documents showed that the crew was aware of her disappearance. Most damning of all, the company told Carver that security tapes were regularly erased after 12 days. In actuality, they are erased every 30 days. Was the answer on those tapes? If so, they are long gone. So the question has to be asked, what happened to Marianne Lynn Carver between August 27th and 28th?
This was something done by some people on this cruise.
On the boat. Mm-hmm.
This was a cover-up. This is blatantly easy to tell, and they should be investigating and interrogating these workers on this boat until they figure out what happened and who.
Yep, absolutely.
It'd be very easy for a crew or certain members of a cruise ship crew to get together and ploy to steal and rob from people, or even worse.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Or worse, or maybe they were and she walked in on them.
If she did truly get on that boat, and she never truly got off that boat, and she's
that's what it says
on that boat still, or she got dumped in the water, or
No, she got dumped in the water, I'm sure.
burned in the fernery fire down there that they use. I don't know. I mean, I definitely, these cruise ships would have been put on stop, and these guys would have been investigated big time.
2004, man. It's not a coal-fired boat.
I know.
They don't have a fire.
I know. I didn't think they did. Well, they got to burn boxes and stuff.
I don't know. I don't know what they do on them.
They might have
I wouldn't think they would have a furnace on a cruise ship. That seems kind of.
I hope not, but you don't know, man. It's a city. It's a city on water, dude.
That's true.
They probably have.
They can also dock, though. I mean, I'm sure they have like a compressor or something that they compress boxes with.
And people. Yeah, I don't know.
And people. Has anybody checked the compactor or anything in there to see if maybe she got? They didn't. Did they see? We should be running these.
You want to come up missing? Yeah. Go on a cruise or go to Alaska or go on an Alaskan cruise. And I wanted to do that too. Not anymore. Forget it.
Yeah, I did. That's one thing I wanted to do was go on an Alaskan cruise. But yeah, I'm not going to do that now.
I think it'd be cool to leave out of San Francisco and go up there. No, I don't think it would be.
No, I'm not going to.
So.
Not going to. Or leave out of Seattle.
Maybe, yeah, probably Seattle. Really cool talking about the Michigan, Alaska. I don't know what's going on out there or the Alaskan Triangle. But nonetheless.
Yeah, that was good. That was an interesting one.
So every once in a while, like we said, we'll keep putting these missing episodes out there. And
we know you guys like them, so we're going to try and do some more.
If you have any ideas you want to send our way, shoot us an email at info@cryptidcreatures.co or reach out to us at cryptidcreatures.net on our website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yep. All right, my friend, with that, we'll wrap this up. It was good talking and hanging out with you today.
Yeah, man, always fun. Always learning. See ya.